as arrested, as a misunderstood? Because we have different reactions even when you look at the social media right now. The people who are, celebrating is there.
And it's not very easy sometimes to actually defend Raila's positions, but it's this way. There's a difference between a hypothetical political leader who receives textbook notes on trying to solve a problem which exists, which could most probably require different notes. That doesn't mean that Raila doesn't take responsibility. I believe he takes all the responsibility over the negotiations that he has held. But I give my position. And the position is very simple. Do you look at this system the way it is designed and believe that even when the chances and everything look like these elections were going to be free and fair, do you really believe that even today, even if we held elections, I can tell you that they're free and fair? No. So even the very basic struggle of trying to clean up the country, make sure that we don't fight over elections, make sure that we leave all this taka-taka stuff that we like doing, it is nearly insurmountable. And Dibal, I say this because me at a lower level, when senior counsel, you remember we've spoken about this, when I'm raising an issue about state capture, or I'm raising an issue about how we are misusing public money, or the amount of pushback that you get, and I'm just a senator, I mean, I'm a small person. What pushback do you think Raila is going to get? So I expected Raila to be intimidated also. I expected him to be blackmailed. And I expected him to be put in the position where sometimes he has to make bad decisions. But the reality is, when you follow the chronology, look at what happened in 2017 when Raila was at Uhuru Park being sworn in. What other thing, in fact, I think for me, historically, that might end up being the best decision that Uhuru ever made. By not picking Raila and saying, now we are going to take you to court and charge you for treason. Why? Because there are certain political decisions you take and mitigate without looking at the political consequences. Or even legal. Very rare exceptions. Even legal. So the history of Raila must be seen in its totality.
Exactly.
You cannot isolate incidents. Okay, there's a trend. Or he negotiated with Moi, then he left Moi, it looks like that's what he does. But the question that you're asking, if Raila had not made Moi, the chicken, swallow the cock, the jogo to swallow the tinga, there's a likelihood
civil war.
There would have been a civil war. But by the simple reality that that mix was brought into the mix, and then obviously Mzee Moi got destabilized because the feeling and agenda he had at that time, all the leadership who were in the opposition, including some who were in government, moved aside and said, Mr. President, we'll take a different direction. Now, look at that and then bring it back until when Uhuru is negotiating with, look at Kibaki, they finished. Now, the one which was most shocking was the one, of course, the Raila meeting with the President William Ruto. We have said, and I remember Kongo, you were there, senior counsel, this question was raised. And some people want to trivialize it like it's not a... Raila was asking the leadership of ODM, you people, you tell me, if you want us to let this thing go, which country? Somalia, away? I am tired even me. People started telling him, Mzee, you can't do that. So here he is, he has made a decision which he was uncomfortable with because for him he's looking at the larger picture of saving your country which is in a mess. And yet in reality, the interpretation is he was doing it for his self-benefit. And many of us who disagreed with that discussion came later. The initial decision with Raila engaging with William was never questioned with us. What became a question, and I understand it, because I know how Kenyan politicians behave. He's talking about betrayal. Raila had to use peaceful methods, means to try and bring those nitty-gritty changes of the software that has made Kenya become a country that is difficult to govern. Every 5 years, we fight. Shouldn't that worry us? And these are the issues now. And I think that is why I'm saying it is up to the president's responsibility as William Ruto, the president who says look at his speech today. Raila was a Democrat. He loved peace. He's a man. Sir, if that's what you think Raila did, please do what Raila would have expected you to. Make sure the country goes to the next level. Because there's nobody who understands where Kenya is more than William Ruto. He's been there with Moi. He has been there with Raila. He has been there with Uhuru. He has been there with Kibaki. And he's been there with himself.
True.
Who other person can fix Kenya really, Dibal? It is the president. So he said he thinks he knows who Raila is. He has understood what we are saying about what Raila's expectation is. I would pray and hope that he will take it upon himself to take his politics to the next level and make sure that Kenyans begin to say, I think now we are going the right direction. So in reality, and many politicians, we don't like saying this, the truth is, Raila's funeral is going to be a healing process for many of us. It's going to be an engagement among the political class. But the reality is that if you go and bury Raila and give him all the accolades and Kenya continues on the trend that we had already started picking, nothing will change. People will go back and say, we want now what Raila wanted.
Yeah, if we want now what Raila wanted.
Yes.
And I was just looking at maybe the longer view. Does it really change the political dynamics in the country? Because right now I'm thinking that Musalia Mudavadi is airborne, and he's reflecting also his life with Raila Odinga. I remember in 2017, he said that, you know, the problem with Kenyan politics is Raila.
And Wamalo said the same.
And Wamalo said, yeah.
Many other people have said.
They have said. So, was he the problem of Kenya's politics?
No.
Or, yes, because this is what they've reiterated, and we've had also from the United Opposition the same statement.
Before my seniors respond, I think I can...
Yes, please. Yes, please.
You're talking about what Kijana Wamala said, what all these political leaders have said. My observation and our many people's observations have been very simple. Raila was comfortable accepting that he is actually a child born in this system. And he understood that there are certain things which must be fixed in this system. And that is, for example, the conclusion I have, that yes, you are talking about changing Kenya. Unless you fix Kenya's financials, particularly within the ruling elite, you are not going anywhere. So yes, he was a conformist, but you see, he was fighting for devolution. He was removing money from the center because the center had become more entrenched. You see my point? So in reality, even when everybody else saw him as a problem, he was the only one who was able to look government in the eye and tell them, stop stealing, fix the country, give us health care, free education is affordable, the amount of money we collect is enough. Please, Kenyans don't expect too much. There are basic minimums that Kenyans expect from you. And that's where we are. So we are going to give Raila an incredible funeral because we respect him, and a lot of people, we all get credit after you've died. So a lot of people are feeling guilty, others are mixed with it, others are wondering what to do. But the reality is, what was it that Raila used to talk about and fight for? Don't tell me how he failed.
Exactly.
Tell me what he fought for. Because somebody else is going to pick that and push it further, maybe to break the glass ceiling. Yes.